The reason that you can't seem to get stuff done and move the needle forwards is because you don't understand maker time versus manager time, which is actually Alex Hormozi's ultimate productivity routine, where he talks about breaking up his weeks into bite-sized chunks exactly like this. So I'm going to go over his full productivity system on how he organizes his life so that he can get to the end of the week and you can get to the end of the week and actually feel like you've accomplished something and your business has grown and you just haven't done busy work. Because I know how it feels, right? Because productivity is not just doing more tasks or working more hours, it's getting a higher return from the hours that you already have. And if you don't want to be at the end of the week and you look back and you're like, what did I accomplish? All I did was manage the team and spin the plates and put out fires, but we didn't actually grow. Then this is definitely the video that you need to watch, because when I switched from the just opening up Slack and dealing with the fires versus consistently focusing on blocking out specific times for specific tasks and calling it maker time and not having anything disrupt me, my business exploded. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was actually working on the business instead of in the business. So we all have high return tasks and low return tasks. High return tasks are like things like shooting content, creating lead magnets. These give you a high return. But the low return stuff is jumping in between Slacks and emails and low return. Now, it sounds like it's a waste of time because it is, but if you're running a business, you need to do some of these things. But when you are doing high return tasks, even just one 15-minute call in between completely destroys this compounding effect of deep work. Like if you've ever been in this deep state of work, you know what I'm talking about, where hours pass and all of a sudden you're like the guy from Limitless, where you're like pounding out work at a degree that you've never done before. It's only because you've given yourself the ability to get into that state and sustain it and compound. And so even just checking your phone completely destroys it, let alone having meetings with the teams and jumping between and the team's like, hey, can I have the API key for that thing? And you're like, oh, so you open up the thing, you pull it out, and all of a sudden now you've spent 15 minutes and you've got to get back into deep work, and you're like, the whole day is gone basically at that point. So the concept behind this is, now maker time is a time which you need to put aside for any work that requires long 4 to 6 hour blocks of uninterrupted time. Things that move the business forwards. This work usually produces assets that create leverage. It requires intense focus with no noise, no distractions, and it's a very fragile state that breaks easily when interrupted. So it's a very bad idea to do this in a cafe surrounded by hundreds of other people who are asking you for things, or in a co-working space. Usually it's in a dark room with an LED light blasting in your face. No. But it's with the nose strip on, the headphones on, the nicotine gum, whatever you need to do, pound a coffee back and focus for 4 hours. So things like writing scripts, building funnels, prospecting and lead gen, recording content, creating systems, and solving complex problems. These are all maker blocks, or maker days, or maker time. These are maker tasks. And then contrasting to that, you have manager time, because you will have employees, you will have admin tasks that you need to do, you'll have things that need to be required to keep the machine running. And so these are important to do, but never allow them to invade your maker time. If you're a creative person, and like I have been in the same situation too, where my creativity, my maker time has been invaded by manager time, and it's destroyed my soul, because I'm not able to create things and build things. And that's the thing that I love doing the most. And it makes it impossible for me to do, because I'm constantly putting out fires and managing people. And so if you're a business with a handful of people, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, manager time eats your whole life. And if you let it, it will. If you don't, then you can do this maker-manager split. And so examples of things like these are Meetings, team calls, quick approvals, reviewing work, responding to DMs, emails, scheduling, fixing small fires. These are all manager times. And again, they're essential, but you need to find a way to block them out and only do them within that block. And don't think about them, don't touch them. Don't even have things open on your screen, which will maybe distract you and pull you into manager mode. So maker work and manager work run on different mental operating systems. If they overlap even once, the entire day can completely collapse. So writing for 90 minutes, then taking a 10-minute call completely destroys the deep work. If you are filming a whole bunch of back-to-back content and then all of a sudden your team needs you to put out a fire that takes 15 minutes and a client's like, hey, can you get on a quick call for 5 minutes, and the whole day is gone. You are not going back to creating content at the same level. It's the same with all maker tasks. So thinking about an upcoming meeting often destroys the attention. Like, I will block out a full 2 days just to have calls, and I know that on those days I still block in maker time for me to come in and do the things I need to do, but it's way more difficult for me to get into the right frame of mind because I know I've got calls later in the evening. Like, it's so important. And so I try to stack them back to back. So usually Tuesday is the day that I do it all. I just get on disgusting amounts of calls. And so you can do this, and it does work, where you block out a massive portion of your day for maker time, and that's, quote, deep work, and then you pivot into manager time, and you're like, okay, if you're a small business owner, you can't afford to go 2 full days without replying to Slack messages. You're not Alex Hormozi, you don't have a team of 100 people who can do that, and you just need to come in at the right points and give super high leverage decisions. But what I would suggest that you do is block out the first at least 4 hours of the day, if not as many hours as you possibly can, because those are usually the most productive, where you have the least distractions and you can focus. Okay, and LinkedIn just opened, and you can focus, and so that's an example of a distraction. Let's close that down. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so later in the evening, later in the day, you can block it out for manager time, and don't try and cram in some maker stuff in there. Give your full attention to the manager stuff. So in the mornings, for example, you can don't open Slack, don't open your phone. These are where your highest return work happens. And then, for example, around midday, you can take some light coordinating tasks, open Slack, open WhatsApp for the first time, answer emails, and then you can go into, low energy tasks, people-facing tasks. You can even get on calls with people here, team meetings, feedback sessions, stuff like that. And then if you want, in the evening, in the afternoon, late afternoon, you can review the day, plan the day. So Charlie Morgan, for example, does something very similar to this. Hormozi does something very similar to this. Sabri Subi does something similar to this. Iman Ghazi does something similar to there's a reason why these guys are so ridiculously wealthy. Alex Becker does something similar to this. It's not that difficult, guys. So how to effectively plan your week. This is how Hormozi structures his week. He's got 2 to 4 full maker days each week, depending on which project he's working on, where the entire day is protected. But again, he has a gigantic team, and he can take 0 meetings and answer 0 people for multiple days. But these are things like writing, recording, deep building. And then he has 1 full manager day per week where all his meetings are put on that day, and there's 0 deep work that's done. So that must be his most miserable day. So for you, for example, you could do that, right? So Monday could be a slow day. It could be a complete maker day. Long form scripts, shoot content. Manager day on Tuesday, so that's what I do. Discovery calls, team meetings, hiring, interviews, creative approvals, QAing work, etc. Wednesday, maybe a bit more relaxed. Maker day in the morning. Manager stuff in the afternoon. Thursday, pure maker day. 0 calls. Don't you dare get on my calendar. Impossible. And then Friday, Saturday, you do a mixture of both. And if you want to be a maniac, you put in a massive block here on Sunday, because there's no rest for the wicked, as Hormozi likes to say. So here are five productivity rules. So productivity is not just doing more, it's getting more per hour. Because we all have the same amount of hours in the day, and Elon Musk is working more hours than you, but he's got higher leverage. Hormozi has higher leverage. It's all about leverage. So deep work produces the highest return, and meetings produce the lowest. Your only job is to separate them. And if you can't remove yourself from the meetings, if you can't delegate them or cancel them, and sometimes you can. I had meetings with clients and I thought I couldn't postpone them because that was part of the agreement. I moved it off their calendar and I said, hey, we're going to go to async like reporting, and they like love it. Less meetings, the better. Perfect. Maker and manager work cannot live in the same block. They are different mental models that your brain needs to go into, and you can't switch between them. I don't care how smart and fantastic and perfect you are. It's different operating systems that are required inside different parts of your brain to be a maker versus a manager. Mixing them once, the whole day collapses. You feel like you can't do either, and you just give up. You just sit on the couch and eat Kit Kats. Protect your mornings like a fortress. So no meetings, no slack, no reacting, no putting out fires. The first 4 hours of your day determine the entire day's output. Get the deep work done out the door and build and make and create in that time. Big mistake that I have made in the past is I sit down, I'm like, all right, I know what I need to do. I need to do this VSL. I need to write this thing. I need to go and do this lead gen stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, let's open Slack and let's get that down to 0 so that I can start the day fresh. And then before I know it, 3 hours have passed and I'm like, oh my God. All right, well, today's a wash. I can't do it. I just don't have the energy to the focus, right? On the other side of that, sitting down, opening up, let's say Google Docs, and be like, all right, I need to pound out this VSL. And then spending 3 hours with my like binaural beats or white noise or static noise in my ears and just pumping out the VSL, it's just like a completely different experience. So number 4 is to structure your week around modes, not tasks. So maker days, you build. Manager days, you align. And hybrid days are optional, but they're more controlled. So it could look something like this, whatever's going to work for you and your team size. And a clean calendar is just how you scale. Like a chaotic calendar will kill your productivity. You will look at it and you want to jump off a building. A predictable, clean calendar compounds the work, and your work is higher quality, faster, and more consistent. And you will respect your time more, and your team will respect your time more, and your clients will respect your time more. So that is how you align maker time and manager time, and copy Alex Hormozi's productivity routine. If you like this kind of stuff, then I suggest you jump in the free school group. Yes, it is free. There are 5,000 other members in here, and I talk about this stuff every day. You can see in the classroom, there's a whole bunch of free content, Miro boards, PDFs, SOPs that are not available anywhere else for all the content that I put out. So if you want to join 5,000 other business owners, entrepreneurs, making more money with marketing, then click the link below. It is free. It's free. And good luck. Hope you become a productivity G. See you in the next one, guys. Peace.